So, Namaste. Myself, Dr. Bedappa. And today's topic for discussion is ideal time to wake up. So, this is like a very simple topic as it looks, but it has its own weightage and significance as why we should wake up at that particular time and what happens if we wake up at that particular part of the day. So, on this, then a doubt comes, okay, is there any specific time to wake up? And if it is there, what's the specific time to wake up? So before we get into the topic as such, we'll understand what Ayurveda is initially. So the very word Ayurveda has two terms in it, Ayu and Veda. Ayu is nothing but the life and Veda is the knowledge. So Ayurveda, the science of life, guides us as how we can preserve and promote our positive health. And then comes the curative part. So it's like a guiding principle for us on how our daily activities has to be, on how our seasonal regimen has to be. And this is in respect to what we eat, which is basically the food habits, how our activities has to be, and what our thought process has to be. Because we, the individual, is not just the physical body, it's a combination of the physical body, the mind, and the soul. So for that, the activities and the thought process is also very important. So all our Ayurveda texts are in Sanskrit. So that's how, like, there is this two sentence, which is in Sanskrit. It is called as Itahitam Sukham Dukkham Ayustasya Hitahitam Manam Cha Tacha Etroktam Ayurveda Se Uchate. So they define the complete definition of Ayurveda in just these two sentences, which is translated as Ayurveda is the science of life, which deals with various aspects of life as the habits. They say as what is wholesome, what is unwholesome to us, and it gives the knowledge of properties and actions of the materials that we use. It could be anything that we use in the day-to-day life. So it gives us the information of everything. And it gives us the principles on what helps in promoting our lifespan and what is not conducive for us. So the very aim of Ayurveda is Swasthasya Swastha Rakshana, which is basically prevent the illness and maintain the positive health. And then comes the curative part, which is the Aturasya Vikara Prashamana, is the cure of the diseases. So why do we need the positive health? Anybody here?
We'll have longer lifespan.
That's right. So what are we going to do with our lifespan? Ayurveda has an answer for that. It's very philosophical and it's very practical as well. It says that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Mokshanam, Arogya, Moolam Uttama. So I have the translation. So every individual has these four goals in his life, which is to achieve Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So to fulfill all these four aspects, the health is very important. So Dharma is doing the right duties. Artha is earning wealth the right way. Kama is fulfillment of all our wishes and longings. And Moksha is staying away from the miseries or the freedom from the miseries. So to achieve all these, the positive health is required. If there is any disease, we'll not be able to achieve these. So that's how positive health becomes very important. So when we say the positive health, so we need to understand what health is. And this is the definition that Ayurveda gives us. So it is called as Samadhosha, Samagnyascha, Samadhatu, Malakriyaha, Prasanna, Atma, Indriya, Manaha, Swasthya, Itya Vidyate. It is like a balanced state. I think for you, it is going to be sounding very difficult to understand because today is your first day. So in Ayurveda, we have a concept of three doshas. So which is basically the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha, which are the governing principles to maintain the positive health. And that is when these three doshas get into imbalance, they become the causative factor of the diseases. This is the very basic information of what doshas are, but doshas has got a very wide meaning. So having a balanced state of the doshas, Agni is the digestive fire. So having a proper functioning of the Agni, having the proper functioning of the dhatus. The dhatus I can translate it as the structural physiological units of the body, which is something which can be correlated to the muscular system, the skeletal system, the circulatory system. It is like a rough translation, but it has deeper meanings. So a balanced state of the functioning of the dhatus and the proper elimination of the feces, stools, and the sweat. So when everything is balanced, it is considered as the health. And this is at the physical level, but Ayurveda goes to the deeper level of the mind also, which says that the happy or the contented mind, the Atma, and the sense faculty are responsible for the positive health. So it is like a combination of the body, mind, and the soul. So the union or like a harmony in the relationship of the mind, body, and soul is what is called as the positive health. Hope I'm clear. So how can we be healthy? As I was telling you, having a proper routine with the food habits, activities, and the thought process. And that is what in Ayurveda is called as dinacharya or the daily regimen. And where does this daily regimen start and end? It starts with the start of the day, with the sunrise. And for us, it is the time we wake up. So we identify ourselves to be the microcosm of the universe. So whatever is happening in the universe is happening in us. So we need to be in sync with the universal clock. So that is nothing but the circadian rhythm and the body clock. So we have a hidden body clock. So even if we don't say the body knows what it has to do, but we are trying to force ourselves and derange this body clock. So circadian rhythm is what is happening in the universe. So we need to align our body clock with the universal clock, which is nothing but the circadian rhythm. And doing so, we will be able to maintain the positive health. It's just that wake up when the sun rises, sleep when the sun sets, because the body has got its own process that it would go through during this phase of sunrise and the sunset. So we consider the dusk and the dawn. So the dusk, the sun sets, the moon rises, and that's where the night regimen starts. And the dawn is the day starts with the sunrise, and we need to wake up with the sun. And then have the activities and the food pattern similar to the influences of the sun and the moon. So as I was telling you, you need to align your body clock with the universal clock, and that is nothing but the dinacharya, which is the art of living fully in harmony with the nature. And this helps in balancing the doshas. Because doshas are the main culprit, which becomes responsible for the causative factor of any disease in the body. So here in India, we have like a very beautiful clock of 12 hours of the daytime and 12 hours of the night, because we almost maintain the same sunrise and the sunset timings. So the day and the night is basically divided into three parts with the predominance of specific doshas. And we need to have our activities aligned to those specific doshas. So the last part of the day or the last part of the night is predominant with Vata. And Vata has a feature of making us be active. And the last part of the day, which is basically just before the sunset. So this three doshas and the 12 hours that we have is equally divided, which means there is 4 hours for each dosha. So the 4 hours for the Vata is the last part of the day, which is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. That's when we should start being slower for the day. So because I'll tell you the reason later why we need to start being slow at this part of the day. So any activities that we do during the day between 2 and 6 has to gradually slow down. And similarly, the last part of the night which is what our discussion is going to be for today, which is between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. is when the body will be preparing for the next day. And that phase is predominant with Vata. The Pitta is basically the fire in us, which helps us have a better digestion in the daytime. And at the night, it is basically repairing the body and preparing it for the next day. So that's how any activity that we do should be between 10 and 2, which is very active part of the day. So the Pitta is responsible for the processing in the body, the thought process, everything would be at its peak, and the digestion also would be good. So try to keep always the active part of the day between 10 and 2. And then again at midnight, between 10 and 2 is where the body needs rest to repair itself for preparing it for the next day. And the Kapha part is a dosha wherein it is more of the sluggishness, which is a nourishing thing. So the start of the day, which is between 6 and 10 in the morning, and the start of the night, which is 6 and 10 at night, is what is predominant with Kapha. And during this period, we need to be slow. And rather, this influences us to be slow. It's both the ways. So we have to have a slow start between 6 and 10 in the morning. And at the same time, we need to have a slow activity between 6 and 10. When we start slowing ourselves in the afternoon, we continue to be slow, and then we will have a better sleep. So that's how slowing our activities for the day is very important, because that becomes the preparation for us to sleep better and have a good quality of life. And then we will be able to wake up the right time the next day to start our day. So having a good sleep makes us have a better the next day. So that's how the sleep cycle is very important. The sleep regimen is important for us to decide what time we have to wake up the next morning and how our waking time has to be. Treatment, sure. You can stay at the reception, the therapist will be coming. And what time have you got your?
Right.
So that's where we get into this background of today's thing. So the ideal time to wake up is Brahma Muhurta. So this Brahma Muhurta is nothing but the last part of the night, which is 48 minutes before the sunrise. I'll be explaining how it goes. So the wake up time of us should be similar to what the sun is or much earlier. And that phase is called as the Brahma Muhurta. So is she interested in having something like hot, spicy? No. So Brahma Muhurta is the time which is like 48 minutes before the sunrise. So the word meaning of Brahma Muhurta is Brahma is like the creator, or it means the knowledge or the auspiciousness. And the Muhurta is defined as 48 minutes. It's the time span of 48 minutes. So it is this span of 48 minutes that is very beneficial for us to acquire the knowledge, or it is very auspicious for us to do anything that is fruitful for us. So which is nothing but the last part of the night, a little earlier to the sunrise. So Brahma Muhurta is an auspicious time of 48 minutes that begins 1 hour 36 minutes before the sunrise. So it is double the time of 48 minutes. So it is 48 plus 48, and the first 48 is what is Brahma Muhurta. So at least like waking up 45 minutes before sunrise is what is advised, because that is the phase when Vata is predominant, and that brings in the freshness, stillness, and more productivity in us to carry forward the activities of the day. So waking up should be at the Brahma Muhurta to have a positive day, not just a positive day, a positive health also. So I think by now we have got all the points. This is just linking with them. So what is Brahma? Why is Brahma Muhurta auspicious? Because it is the part of the day which is predominant with Vata, and Vata is the dosha which is responsible for all the positiveness in us at that particular part of the day. So it is very conducive for the mind, and we feel or we say that Vata is responsible for the sattva state of the mind, which is basically the stillness, the peaceful, the calm mind, and it is in a very alert phase. So whatever we grasp or whatever we read would be very well absorbed into our system because of these properties of the mind at that particular part of the day. And the environment is calm, the environment is relaxed, so there is stillness in the mind. So whatever we do has got better benefits in that period of time. And also, since it is silent all over, there is less distractions, and when there is less distraction, we are more focused, we are more grounded, and there is this rooting in us that happens when we wake up in the Brahmi Muhurta. So this is just listing down the benefits of waking up in Brahmi Muhurta. So like everybody has their own goals in their life. So for students, it builds in good concentration, it has good drafting power, and they can focus more on what they are reading. For the meditators, it is the best time to focus, introspect into themselves. So depending on what their line of work is or occupation is, it benefits them in having a positive thing in that line. So to attain wisdom for those who meditate and for introspection, to improve memory and concentration, this is needed for everybody. For improving the mental health, this part of the day is very serene, the environment is calm, and this gives us a peace of mind when we do anything at this part of the day. So to maintain the good systemic function, and having woken up at this part of the day, even the digestive system has a positive benefit, even the respiratory system, because like what we call as the nascent oxygen is rich at that particular part of the day. And when we inhale that or breathe in that, it gets mixed with the blood and it helps in improving the positive health. It's not just the mind and the performance, it also helps in having a positive health. And it is the best time to meditate, read, or have minimal activities. So generally, waking up early in the morning and having intense exercises is not allowed. And the reason is Vata is predominant. Vata is a dosha which is responsible for any action or movement in the body. So whenever there is predominance of Vata and we try to do more activities, it aggravates the Vata further. So exercising in this period when the Vata is predominant has to be avoided. Rather, we need to be doing something which is grounding, so which makes us feel more calmer, rested and relaxed. So doing meditation, pranayama or reading is the best thing that we can opt for doing in Brahmi Muhurta. So benefits of waking up in Brahmi Muhurta. So the circadian rhythm alignment, as I was telling you, we need to align with the nature's clock. So when we align ourselves to the nature's clock, whatever changes is happening in the outside environment, we are seeing in ourselves, and that is very, very conducive for maintaining the positive health. So staying awake at night or having a day sleep because we have worked the whole night, all these leads to the metabolic disorders. So it improves the productivity and helps in time management. So we have our high productivity in this early part of the day. So whatever we take to do that same work in the morning is reduced. So the productivity becomes more, and it promotes the physical and the mental health. And we need to get into a habit formation. And again, waking up in the morning makes us into a better habit formation schedule. So like when in Ayurveda, everything like positive and negative about every aspect is given. It's not just, okay, waking up in Brahmi Muhurta is good. So it's not like everybody has to wake up at Brahmi Muhurta. No, Ayurveda is a very friendly science. It says what needs to be done when, what needs to be avoided when. So we have a category of people who are not supposed to wake up in the Brahmi Muhurta. Those are listed down here. So people suffering from any health issues, okay, it is good if they wake up early, but if their health is not permitting them to wake up early, they need to look after their health and wake up at the specific time that is good for their body. So people suffering from health issues, they don't have like a restriction that they have to wake up at Brahmi Muhurta. And again, aged people. So generally aged people, they lack sleep and they wake up very early in the morning. That is because aged people are predominant by Vata in their nature, and when Vata is predominant, the sleep normally goes down. So even though they wake up early, they have to be in the bed or they have to have a very slow activities until the sunrise. And after the sunrise, only they will have to have their physical activities performed. Otherwise, they would have their Vata aggravated. And again, the pregnant woman, she needs a good rest. So not insist them to wake up early. Children, this is controversial. So they need to wake up early and do their studies. And again, have a better grasping knowledge. But when this is considered, they need to sleep early at night. So one should look into as how their digestive system is before they wake up. So in Ayurveda, we say that when there is any digestive issues or when we feel that the previous meal that we have eaten is not digested, don't wake up early. So we all saw like what are the benefits of waking up early in the morning. So this is, it tells us what happens if we wake up after sunrise or what happens if we wake up at after 6 o'clock. So after sunrise, we consider that there is predominant of kapha. Kapha is a dosha which is basically brings in sluggishness, and it is like tamoguna, which is basically the darkness that is into the system. So when we wake up in this kapha muhurta, the body becomes sluggish. So when the body is sluggish, all the activities in the body is slowing down. So it's okay 10-15 minutes after sunrise, but do not wake up very late, like 7:38. We have people who wakes up at 9-10. So all that brings in slowness to the systems. So that is how we generally say wake up with the sun or wake up before the sun and not after the sun. So how can I train myself to wake up in Brahmi Muhurta? So having read all this, it is so difficult to imagine to wake up at 5 or 5:30. So how can we train it? It is very hard to give up the practice of waking up late to waking up so early. So it has to be very slow introduction to the system, whereby just make a change of 15 minutes each day. This cannot happen overnight, and whatever habits we have cannot be changed in a short span of time. So whatever we have cultivated over a period of years has to be slowly withdrawn, and then whatever we are doing to withdraw sustains. Otherwise, we are prone to go back to where we were. So even waking up in Brahmi Muhurta, though we know that it's all good, we need to have this habit introduced slowly. So the first week, wake up 15 minutes early, let the body get used to it. The next week, wake up another 15 minutes early, take about 3 weeks, 4 weeks to wake up in Brahmi Muhurta and sustain it. So whatever new things that we are introducing has to be sustained. So for that, slow introduction is very important. So getting to a regime of having this tune to the body. And when we say that we have to wake up early, we need to sleep early. So sleeping early has so many things of having our sleeps slow down with all the activities, which starts, as we said, during the kapha period, which is soon after the sunset. Soon after the sunset, try to have an early meal, reduce all the devices, because blue light is something which can keep the mind active. So reduce the screen time, reduce any physical activities, have an early dinner, keep your mind rested and relaxed. This brings a harmony between the mind and the body to make us sleep early. So that's something. And yes, we have discussed. And do some deep breathing that will help us to balance the mind, because the mind is very active. So calming the mind can happen through doing slow and deep breathing. So this way we can have a shift of our waking up time slowly and gradually, which sustains. So the basic learning what we had today was having to wake up in the morning as early as possible. And this helps in aligning the mind, body, and soul, which makes us to live in harmony with the nature. And this is the first step that is told in Dinacharya, to wake up in the morning to have a positive. Thank you.
Thank you.